Thank you for joining me. It's a pleasure having you here today. I do not take it for granted. Thank you so much. But before we dive into our conversation today, I would like to read a short bio of my guest today. I've tried to make it very, very short, so you're going to forgive me. So, my guest today is Argenis Angulo, an international respected leader, communicator, and coach with over 20 years of experience driving leadership, citizenship, and social impact across the globe. He served as 2022 World President of Junior Chamber International, leading initiative that reached more than 5,000 communities worldwide. Argenis has trained over 165,000 leaders in more than 65 countries, working with global brands like Coca-Cola, Shell, and the likes. He is passionate about responsible leadership and inspiring the next generation to solve global challenges through collaboration, education, and civic responsibility. Welcome with me, JCI Senator Argenis Angulo. You're very welcome.
Thank you very much, Coach Temi, and all people that is accepting your invitation to be part of this conversation that I hope that add value to the amazing work that you are doing, interviewing JCI leaders and exposing JCI journeys as journeys that each single member can build and enjoy to serve.
Thank you so much, sir. So I haven't read your bio. I was just going through your bio once again, and I was like, okay, this is much. I cannot wrap my head around everything you've done for yourself in the last 20 years and more. But I want you to speak to who you think you are without the bio.
Of course, of course. Well, beyond the JCI journey, I started my leadership skills development in a young organization that is part of the school in which I invested my academic uh, life, and there I started the view of serving as the connection between personal development and leadership. And in this young organization that was part of my school, when I finished my journey there, I felt that I was needing something, a community, a team, a project, a vision. I was looking for something to be part of,
Mm,
and at this moment I saw an interview, a TV interview. At this moment, at this time, it could be a podcast as yours. Maybe there are new members that will join because your podcast, that is awesome, but because it happened,
mm,
I joined because I listened first time about JCI in a TV program in which a local journalist, was interviewing the local president at this moment, and I felt okay. It looks as something that I like to be part of. I did a call. I received an invitation, and 24 years ago of this call, I'm here with you, sharing this
awesome.
such an amazing journey.
Wow, awesome. So you study communication, and I see that bulk of the things you do right now, it's around communication.
Yeah.
Was that was that what you intended? Did you plan it from onset, or like just happened?
Well, I plan it, but without all the perspective, because it's crazy. When I took this kind of decision to study to be journalist, for example, I was a person. At this moment, I didn't recognize myself as a leader. I was a person, a regular person, a normal person without any special skills, without some talents. But on my perspective, at this moment, I had not the talent to be a speaker or a leader or something like that, because
Mm,
I was in a stage of my life in which my work, I always said that, was to be, in terms of colors, gray, completely gray. At the end of the
mm,
list, for ensuring that people are not looking me, very quiet, humble. A lot of people never listen my voice at this moment, but
mm,
because I had not the competence to for public speaking, for example, or to talk with people or leadership skills. But I had the talent, I can say, to create private conversations with myself. I was
Wow.
a good observer. Uh, I analyzed everything, but talking with myself. And I was aware about my gap in terms of communication. I was completely aware about it.
Okay.
And
Good.
at the same time, I was moved by the responsibility of, it's a regular phrase, but it's very powerful, of being the voice of people that have not a voice. And in terms of my social perspective, I said, okay, I have a lot of things inside of me that I saw around the world, around my world, that I need to put on the table, that people are not looking at these kind of things. And at this
Wow.
moment, I said, okay, I can find a way. And I decided to study journalism, but to be specialized in press, to avoid to be in TV or radio stations. But on my mindset, I was thinking, okay, I would like to work in a newspaper. I will be on the press room, just writing. Me and the computer, not any other conversation. I don't need to expose my face, my voice, anything, because I cannot, and I have not that power on talent, but I can write, and I recognize myself as a good writer. But
Mm.
it was, of course, it was not real perspective. If you will be journalist, you need to talk with people. You need
Yeah.
microphone in any way. Then on the process you go to the press room and you will write, but you need to talk on. But I joined the communication career with this vision, and that's good because it works
Wow.
for me at this moment. But then, thanks to JCI, I started challenging myself, and discovering that the communicational
Mm.
skills are composed by competences that you can develop if you study it. And that's why I decided to
Wow.
study it professionally for my personal development, for being the voice of people that have not the possibility, and at the same time to train people them that are as myself at these stages of my life, thinking that
Mhm.
they are not good communicators, that they can be if they study it, if they practice, if they read, if they prepare themselves to create an impactful message.
Thank you so much. That was very, very detailed. Thank you so much for those details. I'm just thinking, I believe that some people will be coming across this podcast and probably they would probably start off like maybe they started off like you, not sure of what to do effectively. So you've told us your own journey. How do you advise them to take that little step? And I also want to add to it that are you still scared when you stand to speak? You still feel feverish inside of you.
Well, the first recommendation is challenge yourself. Is what JCI do in our lives, and that's why I always said yes to a lot of huge challenges that JCI presented to me on my entire journey. Uh,
Mm.
Always JCI challenged me. Always. Never was completely easy. I said yes, I would like to. No, always JCI challenged myself, and there is the miracle of the organization. But for that, you need
Say it again. There is the
the miracle of the organization.
wow. I've never heard that before.
Yes, because if I studied myself, my competences, my skills,
Mhm.
my self perspective, before JCI did a miracle on my journey, on my life journey.
Wow.
Because JCI not only means a new stage in which I develop skills. No, it was the perfect environment or ecosystem to recognize the power that during at least 2 decades I had not aware that I had on my mind, on my heart, on my actions. And thanks to JCI, I discovered it, and it changed completely the path of my life forever and
Mm.
ever. And that's why I'm very passionate about it, because it says, okay, this the JCI formula work on me as a miracle. The minimum duty that I have on my hands, is sharing it with more and more and more and more people that nowadays are not aware of the talents or the possibilities or the opportunities or the destiny that is just waiting for their decisions. And JCI is the perfect
Mm.
ecosystem to do that.
Thank you so much for that. So I was just thinking, you're president, 2022 JCI World President.
Yeah.
For some of us, we look at you and you look like a superhero because it takes a lot to lead at that level. I want you to wrap your head around it, think and reflect very well. What does it mean to you being the world president in 2022?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, I want you to reflect on your journey in
Yes.
2022. How
Yes.
was it for you? How do you feel right now looking back at 2022?
I feel, first of all, grateful. Grateful with life, with God, with my family, with my team, with all the JCI leaders that motivate me during the different stages of my journey. First of all, grateful. At the same time, I try to maintain and to treasure on my, not only on my mind, on my heart, this sense of not only gratitude, but to see this stage as a marvelous things, as a wow, as a wow milestone on my journey.
Yeah.
And I treasure it on that sense. It's as, there is a phenomenon when you are growing as a leader. You
Mm.
can live your process, of course, step by step. Definitely, it is the only
Mm-hmm.
way, step by step. And you can see the next step since the previous one is the natural way. For example, I'm not looking, you can see the presidency from the previous stage, the vice presidency, the executive vice presidency, for example. But when you are
Mm-hmm.
executive vice president, to be president is closer, and you can see, okay, maybe it's an option, it's a great opportunity because you already had a lot of opportunities and you have a lot of milestones in your profile. But if you do the exercise to see this possibility, this step from all their previous and previous and previous and previous stages, for example, I enjoyed to see my presidency not from now, not from the previous year, to see it from my
Mm.
first year on
All
JCI.
together.
Yes,
Wow.
but not from here looking the history. No, from there. When I joined JCI,
There.
without any voice, considering me absolutely great on the seat, a medium class leader, no leader, anyone can see that I show it at this moment leadership skills. But from that stage of my life, when I see myself as president, I said, "Oh my gosh, that is incredible!
God.
That is unbelievable! That is a miracle! It is
Wow.
impossible! Anyone can in the in neither in a movie. If you show me that in a movie, I was thinking that it is possible. Not completely a fantasy. That's
Wow.
why I really like to maintain this sense on heart and on mind, because I think that it provides us as leaders when you, and I'm not sure that I'm talking about the JCI presidency because you are asking me about
Mm-hmm.
it, but if you
Yeah.
look yourself now interviewing world presidents, doing your own podcast, but not from yesterday or the previous year, not from 5 or 10 years ago, you can see that, oh my gosh, I already used
Wow.
to do that. Wow, it's wow. And your performance
Wow.
is different because you are aware
Mm.
of the importance of that. You are aware that maybe you can change a life because your life was changed already on this kind of specific moments.
Mm.
I maintain on my mind, on my heart, this energy of gratitude and surprise as, oh my gosh, and it already happened.
Mr. President, you are getting me so excited on this podcast. I've never really been so excited. I want you to speak to that. Is that part of your communication skill to get, the energy you are transferring to me? I can feel it. Speak to that.
Thanks for that. I think that I nowadays I prepare leaders and speakers, and there is something that I always mention that is leaders or and speakers and speaking as a competence of a leader always are prepared to create emotions, and that is important. Okay, you need to
Mm.
consider the emotions that you need to create on an audience. And local president needs to think about emotions that would like to create in a general assembly or in a meeting that he will lead or in a speech on stage. But I always say that yes, it is important, but it is
Mhm.
not possible to achieve it if you are not feeling such emotion.
Ooh.
You need to feel this emotion. If not, you can follow all the formula, the protocol, the technique that you study, the methodology, but it will never will be on the 100%. You will never will achieve it. But if you ensure that you feel it, it is different. That's why I only
Mm.
talk about things that I feel.
Oh.
I'm not talking about things that are not feel. I talk about things that move myself, that I already feel this energy, that I feel this passion, because it's the only way to connect. And on that case, just thank you for this feedback. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. Now, I want to get into the challenging part of which of them can you remember? What are the challenging phases, or what are the things that challenge you the most in your journey in JCI?
Well, first, my own concepts of myself, as I already mentioned it, I had in several moments close to said, no, I cannot, in challenging moments. First of all, your my vision about my possibilities. Of course, that in terms of my personal leadership, me leading myself. At the same time, the context I should mention it. The context of my country, the more than 20 years of my JCI career were the same period of the most huge political and economic crisis on my country and in my beloved Venezuela, my lands where I am talking to you now because I have my duties here. But of
Mm.
course, this context challenged me in several times in very important moments of America, especially in terms of the international perspectives, in terms of what were happening here. Nowadays, things are improving. I'm very committed to that, to be part of that. That's why I'm here to show my gratitude to my lands and countries that provided me my first opportunities, and as a way to tell also the JCI world that it is our duty.
Yeah.
We always said saying international vision, global vision with local impact, and for a world president, national president, local president, this vision should be the same.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I want to confirm, should we take every opportunity JCI presents to us, and why? Should we take all opportunities that JCI presents to us?
Well, on JCI, in terms of what I will not mention, I will not talk, I will not respond this question in terms of how my thoughts. I will just
Okay.
see my actions. I always said yes to the JCI challenges. I
Mm.
always said yes. Oh, because it's also in moments in which I was considering that I was not prepared on
Mm-hmm.
previous stages
Mm-hmm.
of my journey. Because in JCI you have an amazing characteristic that is that if you say yes, there are people that say yes with you, and maybe you are not prepared, but we are prepared. If we are together, we are prepared.
We are prepared.
Yes,
Wow.
yes, we are prepared. And it's what I experience always. I can say there are not appearing on my mind different options. I always said yes, also considering moments in which I have not completely sure about it, but people was there telling me, "Don't worry about it. We
Go.
will face it together.
Go.
Go."
Yeah.
I mentioned I talk about my self awareness and uh, the perspective of my own perspective of my talents, and I always mention that there were leaders that I admired that
Mm.
provided me the first questions, key questions, the first key opportunities, the first key invitations. And I remember myself thinking, okay, I I have a huge doubt. I think that I cannot to do that. I think that I cannot to do that. But that person that I admire is telling me
Hmm.
that I can. Wow.
Wow.
I'm maybe I'm not believing on myself, but I believe on the vision of that person. That's why I said, okay, maybe he have the reason I am not on the right
Mm.
perspective. And I said, okay, if you are telling me that I can, I think that I cannot, but I will do it. And I did it. And that
Mm.
person showed me several times that they were telling me that I can, not because a romantic thing or because just a positive way to support all people, not because they already knew that I have had the possibilities. And on this process, I was discovering myself. At the end, my recommendation in terms of the view of my journey said yes to the JCI challenges.
Wow. Wow. So I'm concerned because we know JCI as an organization that could sometimes take all of your time. It's demanding, to
Yeah.
be sincere. How were you able to balance all this together with your family and your? I know it's also expensive traveling around the world. How were you able to balance all this together?
Well, I was talking from I was mentioning that I was responding from the perspective of my beginnings, but now I will talk from this last stage of my JCI journey. And to be completely honest, there are not
Hmm.
balance. It's the truth. For a world president, there are not balance. There is not possible. It's a decision. Yes, that's the truth. I would like to say a romantic thing that yes, you need to, but it is not possible. I invested 365 days of my life on this last stage, but 20 years previous also
Yeah,
in different levels, but always there
different level. Yeah.
to JCI with the focus of the success of the organization, the success of my period, of my team, of my vision, of human duties, of everything that I put on the table because I knew that, okay, I only had 1 year to do that.
Yeah, it's 1 year.
And I invested 20 years of my life for this moment. At the same
Wow.
time that I mentioned that the balance there is not possible, at the same time, of course, I would like to tell you and to all leaders that are looking this podcast, this conversation, that also in the moments in which you take these kind of decisions, because it was my decision, I said, okay,
Hmm.
this year there will not be balance in terms of family, in terms of personal time. That is not possible. But it's my decision because
Okay.
I taking the lead of my life first of all. But you should include on your agenda, on your time, moments, items to take
Mm.
care of your balance. You will not to achieve the balance is not possible because you are traveling around the world. I returned during my year during my period as president. I returned to Venezuela maybe four times because my agenda was okay.
Yeah.
3 months outside, maybe one night here, something like that. There is no possible balance, but including, for example, in my daily schedule, a call to my family. Okay,
Mm.
I'm not there. There is not a balance, but I need to ensure that I am taking care of everything there. But also at the same time is taking care of myself, because I also needed to know that they are well, that everything is going forward. Or also included in your agenda moments for you in terms of, for example, resting is
Yeah.
needed, but it's not easy. There is not possible a balance. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I'm very proud of my body, of my mind, of my health during this
Wow.
period. Also taking care, creating a time for workout. I'm
Really?
yes,
Despite the business.
yes. At least on my agenda, I'm very serious on that. At least 20 minutes. If I only have 20 minutes at the end of the day on the hotel room, I will do something on the hotel room. But I need to do some minutes to take care of of myself in terms of my physical health. At the end is in periods of your life in which you decided that, okay, I'm aware about it. There is not a possibility to have a real balance. You need to ensure
Mhm.
with discipline to include in your schedule some things, key moments that provide you the energy of this balance. For example,
Yeah.
talking with the people that you love, family,
Yeah.
friends, partner, taking care of yourself, resting, uh, doing your own session of workout, or also something that I include on my agenda is moments to pray, to meditate, to
Wow.
connect
Awesome.
with the you can because you can be the leader of leaders, but always there are
Mm.
a real leader that manage a lot of things that you cannot manage. You can have the power,
Exactly.
the skills that whatever, but always there are a next level of power. Each single person have their own beliefs or criterias, but I also like to advise to dedicate time for to develop the spiritual intelligence too,
Yeah.
especially in moments in which you have a lot of pressure and you have a lot of responsibilities, you are facing a lot of challenges. Is key to be
Very
a
important. So yeah, so I want to ask, you have achieved a good amount of success in your journey. I want to believe that it's not only tied to your ability to speak. What are the other mindsets that has helped you to not only achieve success but across the globe? Are there some mindset that you know that this, if you have this and this, no matter where you are around the world, you would always make success out of it?
well, traveling around the world and connecting with leaders as you around the world show me things that maintain us as different regions, perspective, categories. But if I think in a mindset that I would like to create in a stronger way, is the vision that we are different. You are in
Mhm.
Nigeria, in Venezuela, your perspective, maybe philosophically, uh, in terms of religions, politically, could be different culturally, but
Mhm.
the list of characteristics that unite us as definitely long and long and long and longest. But in the mindset of leaders of young people around the world, we have this kind of technology in the mind in our brain to scan people to scan the other one. And when we scan, we identify in a very effective way all the differences.
Mhm.
Okay, you scan me because how I talk, because my face, because I don't know my context. You scan and your brain provide you a report of this scan process.
Mm.
My perspective is that we should reprogram this technology that we already have to scam people, but now to identify similarities, all the things that unite us.
Wow.
And for sure, I'm completely sure, this report is longer. All things that unite us, all things that unite African, American, Europe, and but we have cleared in our mindset all things that separate us
Yeah.
as categories, as differences, and in terms of different a lot of uh, items. But well, what I think is that the new mindset that we needs to start with the base of someone that understand that yes, we have a lot of differences, but it's a minimum part of the list if we are aware to recognize what unites us,
Mm.
and that is awesome.
Awesome. Awesome. So let's talk about Venezuela. So in recent time, from my own study, it's as it has been portrayed as um, a place that has suffered, crisis, like you mentioned also. But I want you to tell us about Venezuela, what you think people should know that people do not know about your
Well,
country.
first, Venezuela is an amazing country. And
Everybody says that.
more,
Everybody says that about their country.
yes, yes, that's true, and that's wonderful that you already mentioned it because people ask me in several, in a lot of moments, what is your favorite country that you visited? And it looks as a political answer, but the real life is that each single country have amazing things. And I
Wow.
would like to mention what are the amazing things of my country that why make me completely proud to invite you to visit us and the entire JCI movement to Venezuela. Venezuela is a very diverse country in which we have, in terms of landscapes, Caribbean, amazing beaches in the Caribbean Sea, part of the Andes Park of the unite in the entire region of South America with wide mountains. But also we have deserts. We have the biggest, the tallest waterfall around the planet, 1 kilometer.
Wow. Wow.
Yes, we have amazing things as all our countries have. But what I would like to mention is that we are living this crisis that you mentioned as a process. I would like to understand it on that way to value ourselves as a country, to listen a lot of things in terms of our own responsibilities with the development of the country.
Mm.
Especially in times in which, during last years, tell me, around 8 million of Venezuelan, we are in a country of around 35 million people,
Wow.
it's a
Wow.
population, and around 8 million, around 25% of the country population leave the country, decided to leave the country because the crisis.
Wow.
And all these people that maintain this difficult decision on their heart, because we are a very the value of the family here is very huge, and well, these people are suffering that they are not anymore here.
Hmm.
Well, when we talk of what you listen maybe about Venezuela is only the crisis, the challenges, all
Yeah.
these facts that are true, but it's just part of the truth. And in
Mm.
that sense, I'm talking to you from this same country that you always read on news that is living this social crisis, inflation, all these things that are true. That people is living
Wow.
there because of the crime. That is true, but it's part of the truth. There are other part,
Mm.
and I
Other
decided to
part.
be part of this other part. What is other
Other
part?
part.
People that is leading their companies, entrepreneurs, people that is finding the way to create solutions on the middle of
Wow.
the crisis, and there are happening a lot of miracles also in the same moment in which people are telling, a lot of people, millions I'm mentioning, are telling that that is not possible. There you need to live there. The country in this same the same country create a world
Wow.
president in JCI because I studied I studied here. All my
Wow.
company is here. All my
Hmm.
projects are here. Were
Wow.
landed here. This country created me. JCI Venezuela
Wow.
created a world president. And it happened in the context of our worst crisis. What I mean is, the crisis is not an excuse anymore.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. True.
with this true on my mind, and here working for a better and better and better uh, country. Of course, there are huge challenges. We are facing it, and we are showing the world that it is possible.
Thank you so much. That's quite resilient. Thank you so much. So I want to ask, how do you see opportunities in crisis? Is there a way you can look at something that is not working well and create something out of it? I feel it's peculiar. It's a skill that some people have, some people do not have. Is it possible to train yourself to see opportunities in challenges?
Definitely, yes. You need to reprogram, as I mentioned, this technology, this scan. This is something else that
Mm.
we need to reprogram. There are people that on the problems just can see the problems, and there are people that with the same problem create the opportunity. But the difference is their perspective. Is a JCI member, for example, something that developed in an amazing way. I love it. Is how we are developing our personal skills at the same time that we are creating solutions. Always JCI is
Mhm.
asking you for creating solutions for a better meeting, for a better project, for better results, for better indicators, for better students, for better teachers, for better whatever. Well, on the base of be better philosophy, we always are ready to improve things, to create solutions. On my perspective, my success on my country, I can tell in it with proud on this, with this strong declaration, is because JCI create or reprogram also my brain in terms of creating
Mm.
solutions. And if there are
Wow.
areas in which I have not on my hands the solution, okay, I will see another way, another problem, because at this moment, I have another solution for that one. Uh,
Mhm.
could should I invest my time on that, or maybe I can be more effective on my decisions and decided, okay, I this problem is not on my hands, I cannot solve it, but I have some ideas to solve this other problem. Okay, my focus, my energy will be invested on the second one. This perspective to see solutions, to create new ways, is something that JCI developed in a very strong way in the different stages of the JCI journey.
Absolutely. I agree. How do you build relationship? And looking at the level you've risen to in JCI, many people would probably have met you, you've gotten your contact, they want to take pictures with you, they want to, many people know you. You've also met many people. But I know there are people that, you would always want to connect with. How do you choose your relationship and how do you maintain them?
Well, I invested some times to think about the question, because and listening on my mind, and listening people that are part of my team that always mention to me, also as JCI president, I decided to be completely connected and available for each single member. I decided,
Really?
yes, I decided. It's
Is
a
that
task.
possible? Is that possible?
It is not possible. It's not possible in terms of touch all people. But for example, there are
Okay.
some things that are really possible that are connected with my first declaration. That is, for example, I decided to maintain, manage, and always answer each single message. I'm talking about the year as president that I
Mhm.
received in my social media accounts. Never a message was there without an answer or was
Mm.
responded by a person of my team, of my communicational team. I had communication team, but I decided to have always direct connection through my social media accounts with our members, through the
Wow.
email, through WhatsApp, for example.
Mhm.
I think, and if it happened, is because something happened at this moment. But I think that anyone around the world can tell. I wrote the world president, and he didn't answer me because he's the world president. I decided it's an effort. It's an effort, but I decided to
Wow.
manage in that way, to be always completely uh, close. Because I remember myself as a new member, for example.
Mm.
I remember myself as a new member in the moment in which just to talk with a local director was, oh my God, I'm talking with the local director.
Wow.
And, and if I have, that's why at this, I am returning again to this practice to see myself from my beginning.
Mhm.
Because I understand that maybe that person that is a new member on the room that would like to talk with me, and I because I'm tired, because I have a lot of things to do, because whatever, I can underestimate this conversation. Maybe
Mm.
I am underestimating a conversation with a next world president because I was on that seat.
Wow. I'm not saying I didn't see that way. Good, good, good. I
Yes,
didn't see that
I
way.
was
Good.
on that seat. For
Mm.
sure, I was underestimated for a lot of leaders. I'm completely sure about it. And I understand them. But I remember always myself, maybe that person, great person that is on the last part of the room, just thinking if he is have the power to approach me. I remember myself in these positions. For example, I always
Wow.
remember people that as president, would you like to? I'm so sorry. I know that you or people are asking for that, but I would like to have a picture with you. Of course, always I will say yes, always. And
Wow.
a lot of people started this question telling, I'm sorry. It was, I understand it. But a lot of people was, oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, President, because you should be tired of photos. But
Yeah.
always at this moment, I remember myself that on my mind, Temi,
Mhm.
I remember myself conversating with me in a seat there in a room with a JCI officer, thinking, "Wow, I really would like to have a picture with them, but maybe he's so tired." And I decided several times not asking for the photo. Several
Mm.
times I decided for
True.
well,
True.
and well, at the end is I didn't achieve everything because the agenda is crazy. In some events it's crazy also the quantity of people.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
definitely, and with all my mind clear about it, I did myself to ensure that I connect with all members at different levels, because levels always are changing, as I mentioned it. Who is president now is not anymore a president, but who
Yeah.
is the last on the list could be the next world president.
Could be. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Awesome. See, I love the way you process thoughts, and I like the fact that you could make it very simple for me to understand. I think I should mention that I only joined JCI last year, 2024,
Okay,
just
welcome.
last year. So I could not have imagined having to talk to a world president. I could not have imagined it. Right now, it feels like, oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, but looking from where I started from, like you said, it's now becoming a big deal to me that, wow, when I joined, I could not have imagined that one day I could sit and talk to a world president. So it's a great privilege for me. And you made me appreciated it the more that I can look at it from where I started from, not where I am right now. Thank you so much, Mr. President. I really appreciate it. I want to ask, what is the best advice you've ever gotten? I want you to think about it, but what's the best advice you've ever gotten?
Well, an advice that I built on my journey, thanks to advices that I received, but also in terms of the experience, I arrived, I landed on this advice that is leave each single responsibility or position. I will talk in the vocabulary of JCI. Leave each single position as is if you are as if the world presidency, if it is the world presidency. I mean, there are people that, for example, on their mind they think, okay, now I'm the assistant to the assistant of the trainer, for example. It looks as it is not too important because I'm the
Yeah,
assistant
exactly.
to the president. But only the people that leave this position is as if it is the world presidency, as oh my gosh, this is the position of my life,
Hmm.
will be ready for the next stage in another level because they will do and show their best in each single position.
Mm, exactly.
there are there are members on the JSA journey that said, okay, now I'm the director of marketing. I will maintain the best of my energy, the best of my ideas on my table, waiting for my moment as president. I think
Woo!
it's not right. You should do all your best on this position
Oh, your best.
because if you show and you do and you experience your best, definitely the next level will be amazing and will be key for you for the organization. What I mean is not underestimate any position.
Any
Leave
question?
each single position as a world presidency.
Hmm. Wow. Wow. So looking at the initiative you led that affected about 5,000 communities, I'm
Yeah.
just thinking, how did you come about it? Was it that there is a book that has all those ideas and you're picking them one by one? I mean, how did you come about? I, I'm just wrapping my head around it. I
Yeah.
want you to speak to it if you understand what I'm trying to say.
Because I lost again part of of your voice because the connection. But are you asking how I connect with 5,000 communities?
No, so I read in your bio that you led initiatives that affected over 5,000 communities.
Yes,
So
yes.
I want to confirm, yeah.
JCI, JCI is a huge structure, international organization that have operation in more than 5,000 communities. And the JCI
Mm,
president lead the strategy that will impact all these 5,000 communities through the leadership of our members in the four areas of opportunities in
oh, wow.
personal development, in community, in business, internationalism. You lead the organization and the entire strategy, but also at the same time, you can put on the table of all this huge structure part of your vision or initiatives. Is what I did with the proposal of a universal declaration of human duties that
Okay.
started with a vision that is starting with a research that I did, then with a proposal that I presented to our leaders in different stages, and that I can say, and with a lot of proud, I'm very proud about it, that is touching thousands of communities through the mindset of human duties that we started in 2022, and that thanks to amazing leaders of this organization is now growing and growing and creating more impact in the mindset and on the real life of a lot of people, thanks to the leadership of past president Kevin Kumar, for example, that should be
Yeah.
so proud because he joined on his year of presidency,
Yeah.
and
I also had him on the
was part of the
podcast, I think
podcast.
2 weeks
Yes, I
ago.
saw it. I saw it and
Awesome.
I enjoy
Awesome.
it.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you so much. So, what would you say is your strength? Looking back with all that you've achieved, I know you still have much more to achieve. What is your strength?
Technically, uh, the communicational skills that I developed because my studies, because well, my experience and my research, the communicational skills in terms of for a technique way, in a for a technique answer, for a more romantic, deep, and real answer that I'm absolutely passionate about what I do.
Wow.
I need to feel this passion to invest my energy, my thoughts, and I trying to take care of this passion and to be aware also in terms of okay how I feel about it. To ensure that I on the right time, on the right moment, fulfilling the superior guide or will. I'm very passionate about what I do. There are a kind of mindset
Mm.
on young people that said, okay, you are too committed. You are too passionate about slow a little bit.
Slow down.
Yes, and this I remember myself on this part of my journey thinking about me telling me, okay, you need to be more, more quiet, take it easy. But in one moment of my life, I said, no, I'm passionate about it, and
No.
the world is moved by people with passion that is
Wow.
taking the lead,
Wow.
and it's what I do. Of course, you need to balance always that energy, but
I love
also
the energy. I'm catching the energy. I love it.
yeah.
Thank you so much. So, at your level, do you think you still need help? Despite all you've achieved, all the strength in communication, you have a team that makes things work out for you. Is there a part of your life that you feel, how I wish I could just have someone help me with this? It could have made my life much more better.
Yes, definitely. There are things to learn always. For example, I am on my personal professional life. I'm coach. You know that, and I serve as
Yeah.
executive coach for leaders of corporations, of course NGOs and companies and political leaders too. But at the same time that I am coach and executive coach for supporting others developing their skills, I have my own coach too, because
Mm.
each single human being have areas that we cannot see about ourselves.
Yeah, true, true.
Yes, always, each single person have these gaps, and of course, I also have my gaps. And for example, I'm just finishing a period serving as public servant on my lands. I had not that experience. Now I have it because I finished a period, but I studied previously, but I never have had the opportunity since that moment in which I accepted the position at the end of the presidency. Now I develop these these skills, and well,
Mm.
on that sense, we only have a path to continue growing, and I'm very committed about it. There are areas, Temi, in which we are not expert. For example, historically nowadays I'm more expert about it because my life as entrepreneur or as a business man also. But for example, finance was not part of my regular competences. uh,
Mm.
the first budgets that I had on my hands were JCI budgets of JCI projects. Not on my company, I had a partner, and she was the financial expert. Okay, just you. The budget is yours.
Do yeah, do everything. Yeah.
And aware about it, aware the importance. I already studied to improve my competence on that. And I think that it is the journey of any leader also is recognizing, okay, what are the gap, what I will do to close this gap.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. So what I'm hearing is that everybody, no matter where you are, you should have someone you look up to. You should have a coach, you have a mentor, you should have someone that is guiding you, no matter where you are, right?
Right.
Uh, So I'm going to round off here. I don't want to shoot beyond 1 hour, but I want to ask, are there or is there something on your mind that you like to talk about that perhaps I didn't ask you, but it's dear to your heart and you want to speak about?
Yes, definitely yes. And people that know me and know about my passion and my advocacy is Human Duties as an initiative that we launched in 2022, and on my perspective means a huge milestone on the history, not of the organization, of the history of humanity. You know, Tammy, all people talk about human rights.
Mm-hmm.
1948, we approved, we as humanity, thanks to the United Nations ecosystem, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. All people is talking about human rights.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
who was talking about human duties? All
Duties.
people would like to talk about rights because rights always are in their hands. Citizens asking for the
Yeah.
rights of government, employees asking for the rights to business people, students asking for the right to their teachers or parents. But who is talking with the same passion about our duties and responsibilities?
Duties. Wow.
I think we think nowadays that the world will definitely change and improve the direction that we are facing only if we complete the coin with the other hand of the coin. We have
Mm-hmm.
right
Mm-hmm.
here, but the only way to fulfill the rights is with people that know, understand,
Duties.
and assume their duties with the same passion with they ask for the rights. That's why we
Mm.
proposed the that is the moment that we are the generation called to create, to show the needs of a universal declaration of human duties that accompany the universal declaration of human rights. And JCI was an amazing ecosystem to develop this initiative. In 2022 we approved the universal declaration of human duties for leaders in our general assembly in Hong Kong, and since that moment, with this official document, we included the concept of human duties in our constitution, and we started the process sharing it with people around the world. Nowadays, voices as
Wow.
the former United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon is supporting officially and publicly the declaration. Countries as Philippines or New York State, or in Venezuela, Zulia
Wow.
State, approved laws or declarations supporting the initiative that we're presenting in United Nations. During 2024, JCI, under the leadership of President Kevin, launched the
Mm-hmm.
International
Yeah.
Day,
Human duties.
the Human Duties Day, to promote what we established in 2022. And we are on this journey working with amazing leaders of this organization for creating social milestone. I would like to take the opportunity, because this question that you asked me, to take advantage of your platform to let you know first, as a leader, as a voice
Mm-hmm.
that I
Mm-hmm.
recognize of this organization, but also people that are providing us their time to be part of social milestone. We are called to be the generation of duties.
Wow. Wow. That was so, so detailed. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate your time. Last question I will ask, not a question, but I would want you to say something to the theme, because we started this not because we are very sure of how far it will go. We are not still clear. We are still trying to interrogate ourselves. Should we continue? But having world presidents like you acknowledge and say yes to our podcast is a lot for us. I want you to say something to the team. What do you think about this podcast? Should we go ahead? Should we continue? Say something to the team.
I love the initiative that you take to show the JCI journey through people that is on the stage, but also through people that maybe is not on a stage, but are
Mm,
key leaders with amazing journeys to show. The way in which you are doing it in a close conversation with deep questions is amazing, because it's outside the box in terms of the regular perspective that our members have about our leaders. On that sense, I am grateful with you and the team, because the effort and initiative that you are taken. And also, if I'm grateful, I have the duty to be committed with that. On that sense, count on my support for the growth of this project. JCI journey.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. JCI Senator Argenis Angulo. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day. I really appreciate your time. I love the energy. It was so contagious. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Coach. Tell me all the best on your journey and all the best in the journey of all the audience that are accompanying us. See you soon.
All right. Thank you.